The Marvel Cinematic Universe has always been about heroes rising to save the world. But Thunderbolts 2025 shifts the spotlight to a very different kind of team. Instead of flawless role models like the Avengers, this movie dives into the morally gray world of anti-heroes and former villains. For years, Marvel has been slowly setting the stage for this film, dropping hints in post-credit scenes, side storylines, and subtle character arcs. And now, after a decade of superhero blockbusters built on hope and teamwork, Marvel takes its biggest creative risk yet by asking a bold question. What happens when the people who aren't meant to save the world are forced to do exactly that? This isn't a film about shiny costumes and noble sacrifices. It's about the messy, broken, and complicated figures who often live in the shadows of larger heroes. That's what makes Thunderbolts stand out. It feels like Marvel's answer to the darker, grittier side of comic storytelling, and while it may not please everyone, it is undoubtedly one of the MCU's most daring experiments. To really understand Thunderbolts 2025, we have to look back at how Marvel has been carefully building toward this moment. Unlike the Avengers, who were introduced as a team with a clear, heroic purpose, the Thunderbolts have been teased through years of scattered storylines. The seeds were planted in Black Widow 2021, where we met Yelena Belova, Natasha's sister, figure who instantly won audiences over with her wit, combat skills, and raw emotion. Later, she appeared in the Disney Plus series Hawkeye, where she faced off against Clint Barton and revealed the grief she carried after Natasha's death. Yelena's sharp personality and emotional depth made it clear she would play a larger role in Marvel's future. Then there's Bucky Barnes, a character we've followed since Captain America, the first Avenger, all the way through the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Once brainwashed as the Winter Soldier, Bucky has struggled with his violent past, trying to find redemption in a world that still fears him. His long journey of guilt and healing perfectly positions him for a story like Thunderbolts, where trust and loyalty are constantly tested. David Harbour's Red Guardian, introduced in Black Widow, brought humor, nostalgia, and a sense of tragic irony. A Russian super soldier who once dreamed of glory, he's more bluster than success, but his heart is undeniable. Red Guardian represents the fallen hero archetypes, someone who wanted to be Captain America, but fell short, and now finds himself on a second-chance team where imperfection is almost a requirement. Taskmaster, who debuted controversially in Black Widow, returns here with more development. In the comics, Taskmaster is a mercenary with photographic reflexes, able to mimic any fighting style. The MCU version received criticism for lacking personality in her first outing, but Thunderbolts uses her history as a controlled assassin to explore themes of lost identity and rebuilding. Ghost, from Ant-Man and the Wasp, is another fascinating inclusion, struggling with molecular instability. She was once a tragic antagonist, more than a true villain. Her place on the Thunderbolts team highlights how Marvel is pulling together misfits whose lives were defined by trauma and presiding over all of. This is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who has been quietly maneuvering in the background of multiple projects. In The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she recruited John Walker, the disgraced US agent. In Black Widow, she manipulated Yelena into targeting Hawkeye. Her cryptic appearances in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever further proved she's a puppet master pulling the strings. By the time we reach Thunderbolts, Valentina finally steps fully into the spotlight as the architect of this new team. Though her motivations remain slippery at best, all these threads: Yelena's grief, Bucky's guilt, Red Guardian's failed heroism, Taskmaster's search for identity, Ghost's instability, and Valentina's secret plans finally weave together in one explosive story. It's Marvel storytelling at its most ambitious, taking side characters and fragments from across the universe and uniting them into something entirely new. The first thing that sets Thunderbolts apart from previous MCU projects is its tone. While the Avengers films often carried themes of hope, unity, and sacrifice. Thunderbolts thrives on mistrust, betrayal, and the uneasy alliances between people who don't fully believe in each other. The movie doesn't hide its darker edge. The visuals reflect its storm-filled skies, muted colors, and thunder echoing in the distance. The soundtrack leans into heavy percussion, suspenseful strings, and moments of silence that heighten tension. Even the humor, which Marvel is known for, feels sharper, more sarcastic, and sometimes even bitter. This raw, unpredictable energy is one of the movie's biggest strengths. It keeps you on edge because you're never sure if the team will stay together or fall apart at the worst possible moment. Unlike the Avengers, who trusted each other even in conflict, the Thunderbolts constantly test each other's limits. And that's exactly the point. This is not a team built on hope, but on necessity. Florence Pugh continues to shine as Yelena, delivering humor, heart, and pain in equal measure. She provides much of the movie's emotional core, carrying Natasha's memory while forging her own path. Yelena's arc is one of redemption, not for her own mistakes, but for the legacy she feels obligated to honor. Her sarcastic banter balances the darker tone, but when the emotional moments hit, Pooh proves once again why she's one of Marvel's best casting decisions. Sebastian Stan gives a layered performance as Bucky, torn between being a soldier and a man searching for peace. His role as the veteran of the group makes him both a leader and a skeptic. Bucky's interactions with Yelena and Red Guardian are some of the film's highlights, as his stoicism clashes with their bold personalities. His arc continues the theme of confronting one's past, and his growth adds weight to the team dynamic. David Harbour brings comic relief, but also surprising depth. Beneath his bravado lies regret for wasted years and missed opportunities. Red Guardian's presence reminds us that not all super soldiers end up legends, some end up forgotten, ridiculed, and desperate for redemption. His fatherly dynamic with Yelena also adds warmth to the otherwise tense group. After a divisive debut, Taskmaster finally gets the character development fans wanted. No longer a mindless weapon, she grapples with her fractured identity and finds a place among people just as broken as she is. Her fighting style remains a visual spectacle, but this time, it's paired with a more compelling personal journey. Ghost's return is a pleasant surprise. Her unstable powers create thrilling visual effects, but it's her inner conflict that makes her compelling. She doesn't see herself as a hero, but she doesn't want to be a villain either. Ghost embodies the gray morality of the Thunderbolts perfectly. Julia Louis-Dreyfus balances charm and menace beautifully. As the manipulative leader, she's always one step ahead, and the film keeps you questioning whether she's truly building a team or merely assembling pawns for her own agenda. One of the film's biggest strengths is its willingness to embrace dysfunction. This isn't a team that comes together seamlessly. They fight, they argue, and they break apart, but when it counts, they somehow pull through. The banter feels natural, the conflicts feel earned, and the stakes feel higher because trust is always in question. The action sequences are another standout. Instead of giant CGI battles, the film opts for gritty, grounded combat. Hand-to-hand fights, practical effects, and a raw physicality make the battles more intense. Ghost's phasing abilities and Taskmaster's mimicry add unique dynamics, while Red Guardian's brute strength delivers satisfying moments of chaos. The villain also deserves credit. Without spoiling too much, the antagonist challenges not just the team's strength, but their fractured sense of loyalty. It's not just about defeating a threat, it's about deciding whether they can even work together long enough to do it. No film is perfect, and Thunderbolts has its flaws. The pacing slows in the middle, especially when the narrative leans heavily into character drama. While the depth is appreciated, some audiences may find themselves wanting more action in these sections. Certain characters, particularly Taskmaster and Ghost, could have benefited from more screen time to fully flesh out their arcs, while they get development. It doesn't quite match the spotlight given to Yelena and Bucky. Additionally, Marvel's tendency to set up future projects is present here. While it's exciting to see hints of what's coming, it sometimes distracts from the story at hand. Asterisk, despite its flaws, Thunderbolts 2025 succeeds in being one of Marvel's boldest and most unique films. It's not about perfection, it's about redemption, second chances, and learning to fight together despite differences. You watch this movie not just for the big battle sequences, but to see flawed characters forced into situations that test who they truly are. The emotional weight feels heavier, the stakes more personal, and the victories more hard-earned. For longtime Marvel fans, this film is a payoff. It ties together storylines that have been building for years, from Black Widow to Ant-Man and the Wasp to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. At the same time, it opens doors to new conflicts and alliances that could reshape the future of the MCU. Ultimately, Thunderbolts proves that Marvel can still take risks. By stepping away from perfect heroes and shining a light on broken ones, the MCU expands into a more mature, morally complex corner of its universe.